Thank you for your kind words and presentation, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, everybody. The Arctic Circle has established itself as a major annual event. It brings together a great number of key figures who live, work, and innovate in the Arctic. They include political decision makers, representatives of businesses, and scientific communities. The Arctic Circle is one of Iceland's initiatives that moves the Arctic agenda forward, and special credit goes to the former Icelandic President Ólafur Ragnar Grímsson. It's a great pleasure to greet him and honorable Icelandic hosts and distinguished guests at this year's assembly. I watched yesterday a great football game. It was Iceland home match against Finland, qualifying for the World Cup 2018. Enjoyable atmosphere, strong team spirit, and some shining stars. Congratulations, Team Iceland. I only slept 3 hours last night, 1 hour for each goal scored by Iceland. But life goes on. The Arctic Council turned 20 years old in September. All 8 foreign ministers issued a statement committing and continued common efforts in the future. We stated that the Arctic Council has played a leading role in delivering world-class scientific assessments addressing the impacts of globalization and climate change and facilitating cooperative responses to these challenges. We reaffirmed our commitment to promote prosperity, development, and environmental sustainability for the benefit of generations to come. The 20th anniversary is celebrated for a good reason. The results are impressive and pave the way for the future. It is remarkable that the indigenous peoples have contributed to the work in making the Arctic Council an exceptional forum. The chairmanship of the Arctic Council is currently held by the United States. Finland will take the turn in May 2017, followed by Iceland in 2019. We want to strengthen continuity between the chairmanships. This means that we are ready to continue with the important initiatives launched during the US chairmanship. In addition, we want that Iceland will have a solid basis for building their own program when they follow us as the next chair. Ladies and gentlemen, Arctic states and other stakeholders are committed to advance sustainable development. But what do we mean by that? My take that it combines economic prosperity and social well-being with a healthy environment. All this is based on a sound scientific research and knowledge. The foundation is laid on a peace and stability. Sounds simple, but to do and put it into practice, a shared vision is required. Key parts of the equation build on continuous change. In the Arctic, change is especially rapid with the shrinking sea ice, changing climate conditions, and the new economic opportunities such as increasing maritime transportation. The United States has kept climate high on the Arctic Council's agenda. The early ratification of the Paris Climate Agreement by the United States and China was an important pace setter. Other early birds include Norway, Iceland, and the EU. Finland will also soon complete its ratification process. To boost the efforts to tackle climate change, short-lived climate pollutants such as black carbon need to be effectively reduced. Ladies and gentlemen, this week in Portland, we presented our draft plan for the Arctic Council's chairmanship starting in May 2017. Discussions so far have been fruitful. Finland places a lot of importance on the continuity of the work of the Arctic Council. I wish to thank the United States for their support, and I would like to say to Admiral Papp that it is a pleasure to work with you and your colleagues on Arctic matters. Let me take up some of our priorities. Environmental protection continues to be a cornerstone of Arctic cooperation. Connectivity will be the foundation on which Arctic prosperity will be built. Meteorological cooperation will be a great demand in many spheres of activity. Equal education opportunities for all Arctic children should finally be taken as a goal. It is important that climate change and furthering sustainable development are at the core of the Arctic cooperation. To this end, it would be useful to explore how the UN Agenda 2030 framework can be utilized in the Arctic context for the benefit of the people and the communities. People have lived for thousands of years in the north. Northern communities know what is feasible and what is needed. Calls for jobs, sound investments, and sustainable growth are well justified. This is what needs to be strived for. Resilience is built on those components. Common problems require common responses. Let's take one example: connectivity. Well-functioning communication networks and services are a lifeline for nearly all activities. Economic development requires connections. Electronic communication services improve safety and quality of life in the Arctic. This could include areas such as e-learning and telemedicine or social media. What a huge difference functioning connections could make. We all agree that education is essential to bring individual lives and communities forward. Improving basic education opportunities to all children in the Arctic is sustainable development at its best. All in all, the Arctic should be safe, secure, and prosperous, especially those who live there. The work of the Arctic Coast Guard Forum, established 1 year ago, promotes this goal by enhancing safe and responsible vessel traffic in Arctic waters. It was an achievement to create this forum in the difficult international situation. When there is a will, there is a way. Finland takes part in all relevant structures and pillars of the Arctic and Nordic cooperation. This year, Finland is the president of the Nordic Council of Ministers, and next year we will take the lead in the Nordic Council, that is an interparliamentary body in the Nordic region. Last year, we passed the chairmanship of the Barents Euro-Atlantic Council to Russia. This goes to show that Northern Europe and the European Arctic are important in many ways. This is also expressed in the EU's policy formulations. As the EU's third Arctic communication, it is essential to achieve the set goals. The Arctic communication focuses on climate change and safeguarding the Arctic environment, sustainable development, and enhancing international cooperation on Arctic issues. Finland is pleased with the strengthening of the integrated EU policies in the Arctic. To this end, I have proposed to hold an Arctic Stakeholder Conference in Finland next year. In the near future, the world map must be looked at from a new angle. In the Arctic, what once kept us apart now unites us. Arctic countries are becoming close neighbors with increasing ties. In the 21st century, the Arctic has a potential to become a hub between Europe, America, and Asia. National resources and the opening of new sea routes in the Arctic may bring many benefits, but also challenges. We must not forget environment. In view of these unprecedented changes, we need to safeguard sustainable development of the Arctic region. To achieve this, we need cooperation and stewardship based on international law. But above all, we need stability to explore common solutions. Thank you very much.